Hey, Bulls and Bears, what is happening? You're watching Bull Boom Bear Bust here. My name is JJ, back with another dose of economic reality. It's more than just economics today. We've got some serious things going on here globally. But as I predicted here at the beginning of the year, the fourth quarter 2023, it's getting even crazier than we expected. Actually, we have U.S. troops now that are looking to be deployed to the Middle East with this conflict going on right now. U.S. troops are picked to prepare for potential deployment to the Middle East. This is out of the Wall Street Journal. Other news outlets are reporting this. The U.S. military has selected roughly 2,000 troops to prepare for potential deployment to the Middle East, specifically Israel. U.S. defense officials said the troops are tasked with missions like advising and medical support, and they are from far across the U.S. Armed Services. They aren't intended to serve in a combat role, the officials said. No infantry has been put on prepared to deploy order. Interesting. So for now, they're saying no combat patrol, but just the fact that we're sending troops over there, that should be a pretty alarming thing for a lot of people here in the States. And if this escalates, ask yourself, do you think it's just going to be non-combat people going over there? No, I think it's going to be ultimately combat troops, if I had to guess. And some of you may remember a few weeks ago, or actually right about when the conflict broke out, we looked at a chart that showed people are concerned, and a lot more people are looking for certain search terms. And one of the big terms that surged was, will the United States reinstate the draft? So people are pretty concerned about this. I mean, not a lot of people, but it is starting to become a concern, especially for people in the military and military age people that are worried about getting drafted. Of course, we're far from that now, but if things escalate, you know, what's going to happen? All right, but let's get into the financial economic scene here a little bit. This could affect us financially as well. 70% chance Israel-Hamas war spreads beyond Gaza, threatening oil. That's another strategist out there. We've got many strategists out there predicting between $130 and $150 a barrel oil. We've got warnings that a big portion of our strategic petroleum reserves has been depleted. So we're not in a good position right now if we see more supply chain issues and disruptions in the oil supply, that's for sure. And here's another headline here. U.S. sending second carrier strike group fighter jets to region as Israel prepares to expand Gaza operations, right? So this is a more recent article that just came out. I actually didn't see this one earlier. I would have said this at first here. The Pentagon has ordered a second carrier strike group to the Eastern Mediterranean Sea and is sending Air Force fighter jets to the region as Israel prepares its expansion in Gaza. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said. So this is not looking good, folks. So it's not just financially backing these wars anymore. Now we have and are sending, it looks like, troops and fighter jets over to the region. If these articles are correct, this last one was out of CNN. The one before that was out of Wall Street Journal. I did cross-check it with a few other news outlets, so it is being widely reported. So pretty interesting here. Not to sit here and doom and gloom and worry all the time, right? Things could get bad. Things could get very expensive and very bad. But maybe not. You know, maybe this whole thing will die down and things will get resolved and things will get put on a better footing. But typically in times of economic collapse / turmoil, these types of things tend to come up and basically cover up the economic collapse, right? So interesting times here. Also, Jamie Dimon's out there with a pretty dire sounding warning here. And this headline here says it all. You should carefully consider what Jamie Dimon just told the investing world here. JP Morgan boss, quote, this may be the most dangerous time the world has seen in decades. Shocking, surprise. I don't think anyone's here surprised because we've been talking about this for a while, how you're going to start seeing conflicts break out globally. And people that I know are even pointing to this as being biblical, and that we're going to see biblical things happen here within the next, not even very long, the next few months to a year. I would not be very surprised at all if we see biblical proportion events unfold here in the United States and across the globe. But yet, if you look at the financial media, not many warnings or concerns are being floated out there. In fact, here's an example of some of the headlines I've been seeing here. This is out of Benzinga. No recession. Economists are now predicting brighter days ahead. New survey reveals why. Right. So all of a sudden we have no recession now, soft landing. And it's been like that for a few weeks. But even as these conflicts expand and the risk expands, sunnier days ahead, brighter days are ahead, right? I think we typically see propaganda like this before a big economic downturn, right? That's when you see the rosiest headlines, everything's fine, all the doom and gloomers were wrong, and then boom, it happens, right? That way everyone's caught on their heels, and all the insiders, they can go ahead and short the stock market and get out before the average person gets out, and buy then after the crash, they can buy for pennies on the dollar. I think most of you know the way the game is played, right? The little guy doesn't find out until it's too late. The people at the top 10% that own about 80% of all stocks in existence in the world, 80% of all stocks, they will get out first, and they will be the ones getting richer, right? So when we see economies collapse, when we see recessions enter, when we see economic downturns / price corrections or bubbles bursting, pretty much every time you look at it throughout history, the rich get richer in those situations. Why? Because they have a lot of cash ready to buy up cheap assets for pennies on the dollar. That's what happened in 2008 after the bust. We saw homes get scooped up by the thousands by corporations, investment firms, and some by people that were in a cash position to buy a home, or some that just had good credit with the down payment. But we do see the rich get richer to an even greater level during these times. Also, let's talk about something else here. Bank of America closes 21 branches in 1 week. Wells Fargo shutters 15 branches. We have this continuous push also to digital currency. And with most people paying their bills online now, less and less branches are needed. So we're seeing branches close down. And this is all on our way. At some point, we're going to reach a completely digital currency. And there's a lot of other bad stuff that goes along with that. I think we've talked about that here a few times. But at the same time, as we have economists out there saying that there's going to be a soft landing, say there's no recession, sunnier days are ahead, we've got headlines like this here out of KTTC. Area food banks seeing a large increase in demand. And we've been seeing these headlines for a long time now, and things just continue to get worse. So last year we reported that food banks were seeing a bigger surge from the year prior. This year, we're seeing even a bigger surge from last year, which last year was up from the previous year. So things are continuing to get worse. If everything was fine, why are food banks seeing a surge in people needing help, right? So is the economy getting better for everybody? Is it getting better for just the top 10%? Well, I think it's looking more and more like it's just the top 10% things are getting better for. And the bottom 90% seems to be most or all of the bottom 90% are getting deeper in debt and dependent more on help programs or handout programs. More layoffs, Citigroup layoffs. The firm fires 2,000 employees. Total job cuts now 7,000 out of Citigroup. We told you that was going to get worse, right? So now what's going to happen is these people will have to go find of course, different jobs, maybe 2 part-time jobs. And guess what's going to happen? They can chalk those jobs up as growth. Oh, look at all the new jobs added. What they don't tell you is people are losing their well-paying full-time jobs, many in banking and mortgage, and now getting 2 part-time jobs. And they're going to say, look at all these jobs added. Everything's great. Soft landing, no recession. In the meantime, bad news is portrayed as good news. And, that's the way the game is played. I think a lot of you are catching on to that if you haven't caught on to it already. And also, if it wasn't bad enough looking already, listen to this. The New York Fed's factory gauge slumps back to contraction territory. This is just out here recently. The Empire State Manufacturer Survey headline, business index slipped 6.5 points from the prior month to negative 4.6 per the New York Fed. That was slightly better than the -6 forecast by economists. Readings below zero indicate decline in activity. So things are looking sunny and bright. There's no indication of any economic downturn, no problem. But yet we've got this huge decline here in the manufacturing activity survey here out of New York. So don't pay attention to any of that. Everything is fine, folks. All right, keep on bracing for, I guess, sunnier days, according to some of the economists out there. But I would say even after bracing for sunny days, also set aside something for a rainy day because things aren't looking that good in my opinion. I wish things were better. Hey, let's not sit here and worry though. Let's have fun. Let's relax, enjoy ourselves, and run up some credit card debt. How's that? Right now, some people say we should always be aware of what's going on around the world so we can prepare for bad things to happen here, prepare for the downturn. Right. Other people say, why worry? Because it'll likely never happen, and it may never happen. And if you worry, you're just making things worse because worrying is bad for your health, right? So I look at it like this. Don't let it stress you out physically. Don't let it affect your mood. Don't let it affect your the way you carry yourself. Don't let it depress you. Don't be negative. Do the things that make you happy. Do the hobbies that make you happy. But also at the same time, prepare. Have some things put away in case we do see some bad things go down. Have a way to protect yourself. Have some cash out of the system in case we see some other systemic things happen. With a lot of nations out there that are they're hostile to the U.S. already, but could nations turn even more hostile to the U.S. with these conflicts going on in our involvement? That's what I'm concerned about, right? So don't worry, no stress. Just be prepared and be ready to take advantage of the situation. And as always, keep stacking. We're going to wrap this one up. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Talk to you very soon. Until next time, bye for now. Peace.